Hohem just released a new smartphone gimbal, the Hohem iSteady M7. It's got some great features for mobile content creators, but there's one in particular that I think a lot of solo creators will value the most, but more on that in a little while. First, it's worth mentioning that the Hohem iSteady M7 comes with the same AI magnetic tracker that Hohem's recent gimbals also have, and this magnetic tracking module can be triggered using the controls or via gestures. One of the things that I like about the tracking module is the fact that you're not locked into using Hohem's proprietary app. So unlike other gimbals where they have a tracking feature, most of the time you actually have to use the app that goes with the gimbal. But with the Hohem iSteady M7, you can use any smartphone app that you like. So if you have a specific one that you like to use, like the Moment Pro app or Filmic Pro or Blackmagic, then you can continue to use those and you can still make full use of the AI tracking feature. Also, the module doesn't need any cables to work, so it's really convenient and easy to use. Plus, you can have it facing in either direction, so if you want to use it for filming yourself or someone else, then you can easily do that. And the tracking itself is really smooth as well. And because the gimbal has 360-degree pan rotation, you can move around and be tracked with no limitations on where you are in the scene. The tracking module is also a CCT and RGB fill light, which can be really useful in low light situations, and it's also pretty bright. There are a couple of other cool features about this gimbal as well. One of which being a 193mm built-in extension pole. You might be thinking at this point that there are other gimbals that have this extension pole feature as well, but the benefit of a gimbal like the iSteady M7 having it is the fact that this gimbal takes heavy payloads up to 500 grams, unlike the smaller compact gimbals that you might be thinking of with their extension poles. And I'm pretty sure that no other gimbal at this point, like the iSteady M7, that can hold quite a heavy payload has a built-in extension rod. So it is a great feature, but there is also one other feature that I think is also a very good addition to this gimbal. So more of the recent Hohem gimbals tend to have a remote control in some capacity or another, whether that is one that is detachable from the gimbal or one that just comes as an additional accessory to the gimbal. With the iSteady M7, not only are the main controls of the gimbal a detachable remote, but there's also a 1.4-inch full color touchscreen that gives you a real-time preview of what you're filming. So imagine you film by yourself away from your phone, or you want to film with the rear camera because the quality of the footage is just better from the rear camera than it is from the front. Now you have a way to actually make sure that you're correctly framed and everything looks good. That alone for solo content creators is such a useful feature to have, at least I think it is anyway. And not only can you preview your footage with the touchscreen remote, you can also use it to adjust settings and parameters and control the gimbal, as well as use it for target selection. So you can precisely choose which target you actually want the gimbal to follow, whether it's a person, a pet, a building, a car. You can pretty much track any kind of object. In another video, I'm going to show you how you can use this particular tracking feature as well as the extension pole to get some really creative shots. So if you want to see that video, hit the like button and also subscribe so that you don't miss a video. So with the gimbal, you're going to get about 12 hours of battery life, but if you're using the AI tracking and you're also using the light, for example, at full brightness, then you're going to get about 3 to 4 hours of battery life from the gimbal. And the gimbal takes about 3 hours to fully charge as well. Also, it's inevitable that when you're using your phone, the battery life is going to drain quite quickly. So one of the other features of the iSteady M7 is the fact that it has reverse charging. So whilst using the gimbal, you can plug your phone into the gimbal and the gimbal will keep your phone topped up. In terms of the build quality, just like any other Hohem gimbal, it feels solid and really well made. The scroll wheel feels really smooth, as does the joystick, and the trigger button is really responsive as well. And with the trigger button, if you tap it 4 times, it's going to place the gimbal into an ultra wide shooting mode. So that basically means that it's completely unobstructed when you're using the wide angle lens on your phone, or if you're attaching a wide angle lens to your phone as well. And as I mentioned previously, the max payload is 500 grams, so you're not going to have any trouble using lenses, filters or mics with the gimbal at the same time. I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max and I've tried it with an anamorphic lens, which tends to be quite weighty, and also with an ND filter on top, as well as plugging in a microphone, for example, and I've had no problems with the gimbal balancing or being smooth to use. So I've dropped a link in the description to the Hohem iSteady M7 if you want to check it out, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, I will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.